Did you know that true freedom comes from obedience? When we follow God's commandments, we are closer to achieving inner peace. In a world that preaches independence and self-sufficiency, obedience may seem counterintuitive. However, it is precisely in obedience that we find the direction, protection, and transformation we so deeply seek. Exploring the deep meaning of obedience. Obedience to God's commandments is not an imposition, but a conscious choice that connects us to His love and wisdom. As it says in John 14:15, "If you love me, keep my commandments." This obedience is not a burden, but a guide that illuminates our path, even in the most difficult times. It is a journey of faith, where each step toward God's will brings us closer to Him and to our higher purpose. Practical and biblical examples. The Bible is filled with stories of men and women who, through their obedience, experienced God's transformative power. Noah, for example, built an ark amidst widespread skepticism, obeying God's command. His faith and obedience saved his family and preserved life on earth. Genesis 6:22. Abraham, called to leave his land and go to an unknown place, obeyed without hesitation, becoming the father of a great nation. Genesis 12:1-4. Moses, despite his limitations, followed God's instructions to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, showing that obedience is the path to liberation. Exodus 3:10. In contemporary times, many people have testified how obedience to God's commandments has transformed their lives. From the decision to forgive those who hurt them to the choice to live with integrity in a corrupt world, these stories show that following God brings blessings that go beyond the material. Benefits of following the commandments. Obedience to God's commandments results in spiritual protection, emotional balance, and holistic prosperity. In Deuteronomy 28:1-2, we read, "If you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all His commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations on earth. All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God." But the benefits are not limited to the material. Obedience draws us closer to God, strengthens our faith, and gives us a sense of purpose. In Psalm 119:105, it is written, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." When we follow the commandments, we align ourselves with God's will, and that brings a peace that transcends any circumstance. Call to reflection. Obedience to God's commandments is an invitation to experience true freedom. It is a choice that frees us from the chains of sin, selfishness, and confusion. As Jesus said in Matthew 11:28-30, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So, are you ready to live according to God's will? Obedience is the path that transforms not only your life, but also your heart. Choose today to follow God's commandments and experience the peace, direction, and purpose that only He can offer.